Hi, this is Greg with Lionquestfitness. Today we're practicing some drills you often see me doing with a revolver. Now, the red was 5 yards at hip point. The yellow was 7 yards shooting one-handed. And this is based on some of the old techniques as taught by people like Jelly Bean Brice and Rex Applegate. And there's movement, all right? And also retreating, and for a reason, and we'll kind of cover that as well. So let's get into it. Now, today we were shooting one of my favorite guns, which is a Glock 19. This was a gift from a friend of mine by the name of Ken S., who's a retired police officer. This is one of my very favorite guns, especially because of where it came from. But anyway, what brought the idea on for doing this video is I was watching a couple of trainers who have a lot of experience in the modern techniques of shooting, who are, former law enforcement, military, well-versed in self-defense skills. And just for the fun of it, they were trying some of the old Jelly Bean Brice FBI techniques of shooting from the hip, and some of the one-handed shooting like Rex Applegate taught. And they were finding that, wow, we're actually pretty accurate doing this. They were very stiff because they had never trained like this. And when you train one-handed, you want to train for being smooth. And it's very practical to train to shoot like this, because you never know what type of footing, what type of terrain, what type of close quarter shooting that you may be doing. Let's talk a little bit about the perception of speed, because it often can be different from what actually is going on. And the reason I say this has to do with competitive shooting, which is great. Cowboy action shooting, other types of competitive shooting where people draw fast and they shoot fast. But they train for a competition. There are rules. There's drawing holsters that are special for that competition, firearms that are special for that competition, ammunition that may be special for a competition. Then on top of that, on YouTube and Instagram, you have people who speed up what they're doing on video to make it look like they're a lot faster than what they really are. That's when I say perception. Being smooth and training smooth is much more important than trying to achieve a certain amount of speed. But having been in some life and death situations, I can tell you that in that stress, time is going to seem like it slows down. And your aspect of time is going to be very skewed. That's why it's important that you be able to move smoothly, because you're actually going to move much faster when you move and train yourself to be smooth, as well as to train yourself from different angles. Let's talk about training angles and training moving, be able to move smooth to retreat. Very practical skill, and I'll explain what I'm talking about. In 2017, 2018, there was a terrorist attack in a mall in Minnesota where a deranged man with terrorist mindset brought a machete or maybe a large butcher knife into that mall, and he was wearing a security guard uniform where he worked part-time as a security guard, and he just starts going after people, trying to slice and dice. Well, there was an off-duty police officer who also worked as a firearms trainer who was able to stop the attack. But watching the video, you can tell he's having to get back as that maniac kept coming towards him. And I believe he shot him 9 times before it finally brought him down. And he almost tripped several times as he's retreating and firing. So being able to retreat, being able to move side to side is a very important skill. Now, let me end with this observation from many decades ago when I was a black belt in my mid-20s, and I'm sparring with my instructor, who was an older gentleman, and he just stepped back and he just had this puzzled look on his face, and he was just shaking his head. And he said, "Greg, you have what I call lazy speed. You don't look fast until you hit somebody." And that's always stuck in the back of my mind. But what he was trying to explain to me, where I lacked maybe explosive speed of that maybe a champion athlete had, that I was very smooth, and because I was smooth, it did not look fast. So you can take that for what it's worth. And this is Greg with Lionquest Fitness.